Welcome to Aggressor Adventures. Meet Aggressor Travel Agent, Airlines, Tours, and Excursions, Bob Thompson.
I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, 28th October 1962. I was born and raised just in a little suburb just outside of Cincinnati called Cheviot.
Bob remembers his parents.
My parents were two of the most loving people you could ever meet. I'm blessed. I had my father up until a year ago, and I still have my mother.
Bob grew up in Ohio with two siblings.
I have two siblings. I have a brother and a sister. I have a sister that's 13 months younger than myself and a brother that's 6 years younger than myself.
He fondly remembers one special family pet.
We had a dog, Muffin. She was kind of a mutt, black, mixed. I don't even remember what she was a mix of.
Bob recalls his early education.
I went to Cheviot School for kindergarten, which was about a block and a half from my house. And then from there I went to a Catholic school, which I did my first through 8th grade, and then I went to a Catholic high school, LaSalle High School in Cincinnati. It was a high school run by the Christian Brothers. I graduated from there in 1980.
He revisits his childhood dreams.
Well, I had a dream of being a pilot. My uncle was an Air Force pilot, and he was kind of my hero. So I thought maybe I'd follow into his footsteps. But as I got older, I had some issues there. I wasn't a big fan of math, and you got to be on top of it to be a pilot. And I had a birth defect in my shoulder, which kept me from joining the military. Then I decided I wanted to become a carpenter. So when I graduated from high school, I did some construction work, but I graduated in 1980, and the economy wasn't the best in 1980, going into 81 and 82, so there wasn't much work out there. I did some odds and ends. I worked for a roofer for a couple years. That was hard work. I decided that I wanted to maybe work for an airline, so I knew that there were 1,000 people that put in an application for an airline every day. So I took a basic travel class, and I figured if I had something over all those other people, I'd maybe stand a better chance of getting a job. And as luck would have it, I did. I finished the travel class, and when I did, ComAir, which was a Delta partner, did a big hiring, and I got hired with ComAir. I worked for them for about 2.5, maybe 3 years, and I had a plane came in on a Sunday, had no baggage left on it. They forgot to load the bags, and after I wrote up 36 lost baggage reports, I said, there's got to be a better way to do this travel gig. So at lunch, I went and bought a newspaper, and AAA Travel was advertising for a travel agent. So the next day was my day off, ironically. On Monday, I went and filled out an application, and by Friday of that week, I was hired.
Bob loved family times and fun growing up, especially outdoors.
I loved baseball. I loved sports. My dad was a baseball fanatic, and he taught me to play at a pretty young age, and I played it all. We played on the street. We played wiffle ball. And then, when I got a little older, I played in knot-hole baseball, which was similar to Little League. It's an organization up there. I played that until I was maybe in the 6th or 7th grade. I was small. When I graduated from high school, I was only 5 foot 1 inch tall. I weighed all 87 pounds. So sports wasn't going to be anything that was going to be big for me. I had a friend that used to tease me, said I should be a jockey.
His childhood experiences, his education, and his business background all helped prepare him for his current position with Aggressor Adventures.
Being in a college prep school, there was a lot of different things that I could take, and one of the things I took was on-the-job training. So I learned pretty quickly how everyone counts on everyone in a business. When I hired into my first travel agency, I was just an entry-level travel agent, And I did that for a couple of years. The office I was in closed because we were in a department store that was closing. And at the same time, I was actually wanting to get out of Cincinnati. So I met an agency owner on what we call a familiarization trip. And he had an agency that was 2 hours north of where I was. So I moved up there and started to work in his agency. And shortly after I left, or after I started there, the manager that was there left, and he promoted me to manager. So I didn't spend a lot of time as an agent. I went right into management. But in our business, if you're a manager, you're also doing travel as well. It's not, unless you're running a really big agency, you're on the front lines dealing with the customers, which is perfect for me because I'm a people person. I love working with people, and I think I picked a pretty good profession that most people, when they call me, they're happy, they're going on vacation. It's not like being a doctor where when they call you, they're sick. So, the education that I got, looking back at it, has helped me in a lot of ways. I learned the basics of what it takes to be successful.
He explains how and why he chose the Christian ministry as a passion in his life.
Ironically, when I graduated from high school, I actually considered becoming a Catholic priest. The problem there was you had to take a vow of poverty and you had to take a vow of chastity. And I didn't want to do either one of those two. I wanted a family. So as it turned out, I had no children. And for a while, when you got into the business as a travel agent, you were working on commission. So I lived poor for quite a while. So I teased my friends, and the priest that was at the church where I go at the time, him and I had lunch, and I told him the story of me had considered being a priest, and he said, well, sometimes there's a second calling in your life. So I never really thought about it. It kind of sat in the back of my head, and I kind of got a little bit more involved in church. I became a lector. I read at church, and I was a greeter. I greeted people coming in. Then they found out that I was in community theater, so they wanted me to sing. So then I was in the choir. But I found myself coming home every night and sitting in front of the TV, and I got tired of sitting in front of the TV. So I was looking for something that I could do that would occupy my mind, strengthen my mind a little bit, keep me busy. And someone mentioned this course at church called Education for Ministry. And it was a 4-year course, and they said there was a lot of reading in it. And that conversation that I had about the second calling, I guess, kind of went back to my mind. And so I signed up for the course, and I found as I dug into it, it was really an interesting course because it wasn't so much about church and Christianity as it was about theology and how Christianity affected the world over the history of the world. And the more I got into it, the more interesting it was to me. So I actually finished the course. I finished the 4 years of it. And when I finished, the person that was the mentor of the class decided he was not going to do it anymore. So I became the mentor. So to this day, I still mentor the class. We had a new priest come to our church. He was our rector. And in working with him, he asked me one day if I'd like to preach. And I said, I can't preach. I'm not ordained. He said, yeah, you can preach. He says, anybody can preach. So I said, okay, yeah, I'd do that. So I preached the first time, and I loved it. There was this power that I tell people I can't describe to anybody. It was like God was speaking through me when I'm up there preaching, and I still get that feeling. And I've since become a licensed lay preacher, so I can preach as many times as he wants me to preach in church.
He talks about what he does for fun and relaxation these days.
It's a toss-up between what's my favorite. I have a motorcycle. I love riding my motorcycle. I've been riding a motorcycle since I was 18 years old. I started with a little Honda 400, and now I have a Harley-Davidson Heritage Softail. I get a lot of enjoyment out of riding. It's something that you have to do when you're riding. You have to keep your mind on what you're doing because you have to pay attention to your surroundings. So it tends to help you forget about other things. And then my second thing that I do for fun is golf. I'm horrible at it, but I have a great time.
Aggressor Adventures, for your adventure of a lifetime.